Kiya podcast would like to acknowledge that this episode was recorded on Whadjuk land of the Noongar people. We recognise our First Nations people as the traditional custodians of the land, and we pay our respects to the elders past, present and future. Today's episode, I get quite a variety of people that's doing amazing things in the community. As of late, it has been a lot of athletes and a lot of people doing great things in sport and great things in the community. And today we have one of those leaders. I want to say emerging elder, but I don't want to put him. I don't want to put you on, make you feel old.
Too late.
Because you're not. You're young. You're a young man still, but he's doing great things in the community. Has been doing great things in the community ever since I can remember. And also, side note, 450 games of senior footy. I'd like you to welcome Uncle Nathan Hansen. So
Thanks, Unc. Thanks for having me. Drew up for that intro. So you can come and
it's
talk.
alright.
You can introduce me to anyone anytime from now on. So
yeah,
no, thanks for that.
no worries. So pretty much, how's life treating you so far?
Yeah, not too bad, Unc. Not too bad at the moment. Just finished the regular footy season. Like you said, lucky enough earlier on to play my 450th senior game, which was good seeing you down there.
Yeah.
And didn't get the win, but just the occasion afterwards, sit back and realise even to get that far is pretty good, considering probably some of the yarns I'll tell you later when I was a big fat mess of a teenager. That's been good. Work's going good. There's some things going on in there. I'm in the community engagement space within Cannington at the moment, which is, a good change after I'm in my 25th year being a monarch. So it's just going along nicely at the moment.
Yes. So for the people that don't know, obviously you're in the police force and have been in the police force for quite a while. Like I remember being a kid at basketball carnivals, and then I was thinking, who's this Noongar in a suit walking around I think you was a junior at that. You was a junior
I
detective
would have
at that
been.
point?
Well, I still would have been in the job 10 plus years, but joined detectives late, and used to try and get around to the carnivals and stuff like that. So
looking wicked in your suit, don't it? Do you miss wearing all that? Or?
Nah, because the uniform's easier because it's there.
Yeah.
You don't have to pick a tie and the shirt and what goes with what. Just the uniform's easier, but not gonna lie, you'd think you're from Bad Boys when you chuck in the suit.
Mike Lowrey, boy. no, but it's wicked that you wear that with pride, and because my nephew Alfie Stack, he's doing cadets down in Bunbury.
Yep.
And he's telling me about what he has to do to get the constables ready, and what his role is, and you can just see like how proud he is of doing that. And it's
that's a great sort of intro into our young fellas if they want to consider being a monarch. That cadet program, it went away for a long time and then it rebooted. Then we had some very good leaders that took control of it, some black fellas as well, and they took control of it and really got it humming. To spots where we were getting so many cadets through that they've now become police officers. So they went to the recruit school and then went out on the beat, and a lot of them are nieces and nephews and that now. So it's good to have that second wave. But that cadetship, a good start. And then if you don't like it, you don't like it. But at least you've had your dipped your toe in there and you can make your choice from there.
Yeah, that's it. Because they spend quite a while at the Joondalup.
They spend a little bit of time out there, then they go out to the stations where they work, and then I think they go back every couple of months just to do a week or so there to give them a break of what's happening out on the streets and just to upskill them a little bit more. So it's good.
That's wicked, all that process. So what made you get into policing and as a desirable route? Because obviously it's a big commitment that you have to make. Obviously, there's a lot of internal problems that you have to deal with being a black fella in the police force, and a lot of external that often gets overlooked. So, what made you get into it?
I can sort of remember as a little kid, used to love police shows and did that. And as I grew older, So I suppose as a lot of people, my dad was my idol, and he was a Vietnam veteran. And I wanted to, so that sort of give me that little bit extra more inspiration. I want to do something, but I saw the bad effects of what that did to him. So I wanted to do something similar, but I didn't want big gunnery. I didn't want to go away and fight in another country. So I wanted to do something sort of along that lines of what he had done, and then and always like sort of police shows and that. So I sort of grew into really wanting to be that. So as a little kid, you think about it, and then when I got to high school, we had and there was at Gosnells High School, and we used to have police officers in the schools. So I had 2 police officers there, and just had casual chats to them, and they were good people, and really chat back to you. Sort of, they knew what kind of area they were, being in Gosnells, and so they were real good. And from there, I sort of, I think this is what I want to do. Spoke to mum and dad, and wanted sort of their blessing, and the old boy said, "Yep, mate, you got this uncle, that uncle, they're APLOs and police officers. We'll have a yarn with them, and then we'll take it from there." So it was just always something I wanted to do, and then going through sort of that back end of high school, just knowing what I had to do to get through. Then we did some stuff. I went to Curtin Uni for a bridging course for a bit. Did some uni TAFE stuff, and just having to sit around with all the elders getting talked about, how they felt about when they were treated by police, and getting stopped because black fellas was getting higher purchase cars. They're starting to get a little bit of equalisation and being able to get flash cars and that, and getting stopped all the time. And that sort of, it didn't push me away from it. It sort of intensified me to it. It was like, well, if I can get in, I can try and help change this way. So that was a big thing for me as well. So I reckon in that sort of gap year, because I think it was 19 was the minimum age, 19 or 20 when I wanted to go through, was the minimum age to get in. They didn't have cadets at that time. So I wanted to do it that way, and then just hearing those stories, it didn't push me away. It actually wanted me to do it more.
Yeah, that's what I find really, really interesting, because with most people, that's what turns them away, and then, you've come in wanting to change that stigma. And
so I wanted to change it so that our mob always didn't have to get pulled over for and how's the way you're going to do that if it's a business that's predominantly non-Aboriginal? Get into it as an Aboriginal person. Some of them fellas, like even now, sort of through the academy, a lot of the people who become Monarch probably have never spoken to or had a sit down with a black fella until they get to a job where it could be it's a low point in the police, and that this could be the first time they come across a black fella, and they could be a victim of an offence where you still feel bad, or they could be an offender where they've done something wrong, and they feel real shame and a lot of substances and sort of stuff now. But that could be the first time they meet them, so they don't, and that's probably a bit on them for not getting to know people through their life, and or sometimes they might have grown up in an area like that. So
sometimes that's their first impression. Of black fellas,
absolutely, absolutely. So it's about sort of changing that, and again the statistics around Australia don't help us with us. Being charged with more offences, being a victim of it a lot too when it comes to family violence and stuff, but and our incarceration rates. So where does it all sort of start? It's got to start with some sort of criminal behaviour that police get involved in. So like you said, it could be the first time that they meet them. So if you're in there first and able to show them, hey, I know all these people, but we can be like this as well, really changes perception. So so that sort of drove me through that way. So it was definitely Dad with what he'd done. Again, didn't want to go over the war and be a big gunnery and think I'm not coming back.
Stuff that.
So I'll just try and do a lower version of it over here. So that was my intro.
But that's it. A lot of black fellas do try to change their surroundings and give. We're very big on community, with Aboriginal culture. We work in that nurturing environment of elders looking after the young, and then when the young get older, looking after the elders. So that's what that's essentially what you're doing, because prime example is myself being a young fella and then seeing what you're doing in the community, and then having to live up to that role model, only just keeps it going,
Yeah.
it keeps that good cycle.
Yeah, and that's what I wonder. And lucky these the programs that we talk about, like the cadetship program and stuff like that, it has been able to change it. But it's also about being in there and just being yourself as well. So like I know a lot of, especially early times when I was working at Cannington and going through Carousel when on a Thursday night because it's busy, and like Noongar's packed all the way through Carousel, and the Wodula Monarch didn't really like coming to work with me through walking through Carousel because they're like, are they actually all your relations, or do you know them
gotta
all?
stop.
Like, we walk 5 meters, bump into someone, and you always got to take that time and have the yarn to them. And it's even brought in a lot now with being a monarch. You got to know your community. So you're not going to be able to do that by just sitting in your car going from job to job. And don't get me wrong, that happens a lot because it's pretty busy out there for the guys. But yeah, you get out, you get amongst the community. And I was pretty lucky. I worked at Cannington Police Station. I reckon I worked there 11 years of my 25.
So 25 years in
25,
the force?
yeah. Then, so start my 25th year this month. So
man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Old boy. You was right calling me old before.
Yeah,
but, but yeah, get out. And so I worked in Cannington and I grew up and lived and played in the area. So I sort of knew the community, through sport, knew a lot of non-Aboriginal people, and then through living here and this is where our mob grew up, just doing that as well. So, yeah. So what year was you born?
98.
Oh, you're lucky. Yeah, I joined the academy in 2000.
So. lucky. 2 years. Got into 2 years. No, that's really cool, especially when you talk about actually, taking the time out of your day, not just to go about your business as a job, but to have that yarn with people. Because I think especially, since 2020 with George Floyd and Black Lives Matter has kind of been going on forever. It's not just 2020. That's that's obviously one incident that social media caught, but this has been going on for a number of years. But actually engaging with not only the people that you work with, but letting them know, hey, like these are just they're people too, they're family too, and being able to help whoever's with you build that common ground, because you don't really think about that third party. They're obviously witnessing you talking to that young fellow or that person at a late night shopping center, and then you never know, that's probably sparked how they talk to someone and they engage with the next person.
Yeah, and it is, and it's about teaching them sometimes teaching them some words so that when they walk in and they talk to a bunch of young boys. But yeah, it's just showing them the same thing. Like, talk to these fellas probably a little bit more relaxed than what you think you need to. You don't need to go in, being so authoritative. You can have a yarn with them, and a lot of the times they'll see it, and it's good because it's about teaching, and you talked about what we do as mob and looking after our elders and stuff, and it's about culture sharing and stuff like that. And if I can do that to a lot of fellas that I'm working with that aren't black fellas, it can only help with the relationship, because there's no hiding it. The police system and the police relationship with Aboriginal community it's been terrible over years, and Mr. Dawson at the time, the commissioner in 2018, came out and did that big apology in NAIDOC week. So and it's because of the legislation at the time, especially back in the earlier times, was it was pretty bad against our mob. So, and that you're trying to teach these people about, that's what intergenerational trauma is. That's why you rock up with a uniform. That's the first thing they see. So then if you can just try and have a normal, sometimes you can't have the normal conversation because, there might be other things at play, like drugs and stuff like that. And as with anyone, you can't.
And then you just got to break down those barriers. Hey?
And then if it's a situation where it's like could come across looking like just a normal argument, rock up, hey, your mob was going, oh no, sorry, we're just, no worries, well, you're both right, Yeah, no
All
worries, go
good.
along.
Just checking
So,
in, yeah.
yeah, so it's just those things, and it's about being able to do it whether you're black or white. So, yeah, just trying to help teach and both ways, and I still learn stuff from non-Aboriginal people about some things they do. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's about being open.
Well, that's
to
one
it as
thing
well.
because obviously, working as a Aboriginal liaison officer, I kind of got to be the middleman pretty much between
Yeah.
everyone.
Yep.
But I try to tell everyone is figure out how you can get comfortable asking those difficult questions, and you might find out that those difficult questions that you have for Aboriginal people, or any Indigenous person, any person of color, it's not that difficult to have that conversation.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Like our culture, like you said before, is all about sharing. It's all about communicating. We didn't write anything down. Our culture is all spoken. Our language
Yeah.
is all spoken, and if we're willing, if we're able to share that with someone who's gonna take that in, nurture it, and then hopefully pass that on. That's what our culture is about, and that's something that you're able to bring to your workplace, and that's a very, very special thing.
Yeah, thanks, Unc. Yeah, just trying this. I tell people, like, if they're open with me, just ask a question. Like, I've known you for a while. You can ask me any type of question now, as long you're not coming out of hatred with it, or you're not being smart, or you're not being a dick about it. No drug. You can ask me any question. We'll have a yarn, and if I don't know the answer, I'll go away and I'll
Hopefully
come back with an answer. Come back with an answer, because you might ask something that I don't know, and then guess what? If I don't know it, I've got to go and learn it.
Yep.
And so then I get to learn again as well, and then I get to teach you about it too. So
that's it.
Yeah, and like I said, if people are being idiots or just being smart about the way they ask, and but no, a lot of the times I get asked stuff. It's people that, like I said, I've been in there for 25 years now. A few sort of people know me, so they know that they can ask. So I'll get messages from guys that I haven't worked with in 5 or 6 years. Will send me a message saying, "Oh, got this and that. I want to know. What can you point me in the right direction? If I can't, I'll point them to someone who can." So yeah, it's just about being like that. And don't get me wrong. Some of the times the questions, even though it's not coming from pisses you off and makes you up, but you got to go.
You got to take a walk or something before you.
I can't be angry about that. Asking genuinely, look, sorry, brothers. This is a little. I might get a little bit fired up when I answer this for you, but it's not.
But it's
I'm
from
not
a place of love.
It's because I'm just having because that question might rile me up, or the answer. So yeah, but no, it's been good.
No, that's wicked, and because we touched on it just there a little bit, is what other obviously with what happened in 2020 being a big in America was definitely a big police versus black people sort of thing, and then it kind of I found interesting is after the initial response from the community, it was kind of more of a, especially over here in Perth, was a coming together thing. So like, how was those kind of difficult times and questions that obviously would have had to come up for yourself? How'd you kind of go about that?
No, just the same way. Yeah, it was. But then don't forget, we within here, like the last couple of deaths by police was up in the NT, and then in Geraldton as well, which were both Aboriginal people too. So like with that one with Floyd, that's we're sort of separate from it, but when they started to get to know, and some people say, oh, but that's not here, but say this has happened for many years here. So stop thinking so narrow-minded. And then and how, and then we have those two very unfortunate incidences here as well. And then that's the stuff that hits a lot more closer to home. Yeah, because that's especially with Geraldton, probably I know people that are in the job that were related to her, and I know people that were related, so that makes it sort of real close to home. And then even going through that trial process when he the police officer went through the trial and gets found not guilty and stuff like that, still very conflicting as a black fella. And I've told the police, or all my mates in the police and every part of the police, I always tell them I'm a Noongar first and foremost, and I'll always be a Noongar to the day that, you know, I get buried in the ground. Whereas I can leave the job and I won't be a police officer again for a while. So that's one of the things that you sort of try and, I'll still be a Noongar. I'll just be a Noongar in another job or something like that. So,
no, make it up.
I hope not.
Yeah, touch wood though.
On a corner. Nah.
Oh, no. Again, what?
So, no, it's just about, tell them, like, and just being proud of your culture and that always. So, just from the moment that I've joined, and that's because I had very strong leaders. Had, again, Dad, who was president of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Return Veterans, which now they lead the, during Reconciliation Week, they have a memorial day for all Indigenous servicemen and women. That, like, you know, watching that, and then Uncle Mort, you know, with Tumblegum Farm and Aberdidgery and dance groups. So, like, my first job was Noongar dancing up at Tumblegum Farm out of school. And so I've always had culture around and had real strong leaders throughout. So that always, so I remember from the moment, I can tell you probably my first 3 or 4 racial incidences in the police.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like, I remember my first one was out of the academy booze bus. So you'd generally go to a station or you go to the booze bus. So this is, I graduated March 2001. So this is either late March, early April, in Perth. I can take you past the site.
You're fresh out of the academy.
Fresh out of the academy. Pull up, so we're on the booze bus, blow into this please, blah, blah, and blows in and goes over. And then it's my fault. Fuck you, you little black so-and-so. And so I still got my notebook from that time and where I wrote in, so like, oh, he's saying, I've got to put all this in. And the other Monarch took him away and he got charged not just with a drink but disorderly and that as well. And this is before, you know, racial aggravation, assault and stuff like that. So he got, so I can remember that one straight away. I remember 2002, it would have been Armidale Police Station, had senior officer there, and he was talking, and he was actually a good mate with one of my uncles who was a Monarch there as well at the time, and he talked about this young girl that was getting in trouble, and she hung out with this young Abo. And you know, because in this times in the police systems, on our computer systems, to put the ethnicity, it was only 3 letters. So ABO was Abo was the on our police systems, and even then I'm thinking you're going, this is not fucking right. But Caucasian was CAU, or African I think was AFR and stuff like that. So I was just like, nah, this still isn't right. So people, it almost gives them a sense that they can say this sort of stuff. And he said, and I was 21 at the time, and I said, just to let you know, as Aboriginal people, we actually don't like that word. And he got him riled up because I'm 21, snotty nose in the job. He's been in for a long time. But I was like, I got to, if I don't tell you, you're going to walk around and say it again. Some other young fellas won't. So I've always been pretty staunch like that in that regards. And even with mates that accidentally, and I say accidentally, I hung around a bloke for a while when I worked at Cannington, and you know, we'd have barbecues up at his place. The kids would go up, swim at the pool with his kids, and he's sitting in the car, and he's just, we're talking about it, and he talked about this shit car that he had, and he goes, this bunga that we used to have, and I just said, Bruz, do you know what you actually said? And he stopped, and he looked, and he goes,
he had to think.
Fuck. He goes, it's always been, he goes, I am ridiculously sorry. I apologise. It's just what that's always been said. I said, do you know why it's said like that?
Oh no.
And then told him why, because like obviously shit cars, only bungs could own shit cars, so every shit car was known as, I was like, bro, and he's just like, and he like, mate, he was modular, and he went fairer again. He almost went see-through. That's
that look on your face would have been like angry, and then oh no, you actually don't.
I knew, like, because I know the bloke, very good-hearted bloke.
So it's like, you actually don't know what you said.
I said, you know what you actually said, and he just, you should have like. So, but then that's about that education, but standing up and always knowing, culturally where you are. Not everyone's going to be like that, and which is good, because then if there's young fellas that can't, I hope they can come to me, and then I can help them in that regards. But yeah, I just had real strong leaders, especially my men in dad and uncles and that. So the racism, it's still out there, and it's how we deal with it.
Yeah,
and how we can change it. So
yeah, I think it's although it's still out there. I think we're finding new ways to being able to deal with it professionally as well.
Yep.
Not just retaliating and we're kind of figuring out, like we said before with that educating side of things, is if someone is racist or we come across racism, whether it's from a friend where it's indirect, is we're figuring out how to deal with that. And then obviously it's kind of progressed into like subtle racism and just
unconscious
little
bias
things,
and
unconscious
conscious
things.
bias,
you got the
and just
conscious
straight up
ones.
racism.
Then straight up racism.
So there's still that. So it's how we sort of deal with it. And don't get me wrong, if we have every right to get wild about it, but if we do, it's like, oh, there's the angry black fella again. Well, we're angry because it's something that you said and the way that you are. But again, if you're going to be racist, people are going to be racist. That's whether they're born into that or they grow into that mind, that's them. But you can, as you sort of know with work, I suppose, with people now, they've got ALO there. They want to ask so many questions that they've probably never been able to ask anyone before. And even when they're asking a nice thing, they're probably going to say something wrong.
Yep.
But it's about us teaching them and saying,
like there's some things where I got to be like, okay. All right. Good morning. I hope this email finds you well.
Write it.
Kiya.
Write your angry email, walk away, come back, and then edit
and then rewrite it.
Works more times than it doesn't.
Oh, yeah. No, it's very good. So let's talk about fitness. So you've had a pretty big fitness journey as well. Obviously, slimming down. We touched on it at the start for that Mudich intro that I gave you.
Yeah.
Just recycling that again.
Yeah, no. I'll pay you later.
Yeah, pay me later, But we touched on it before. 450 games, is a big accomplishment for anyone. Not just someone who's working, because, you get a lot of fellas that plays games where they're just, living for footy.
Yeah.
But 450 games, that's something wicked in itself. What was your journey getting back into fitness, and how did you find that affected your mental health as well? Because especially on this podcast, mental health is a huge thing. It's something I'm always trying to push, and the correlation between mental health, fitness and a good workplace is huge. So,
yeah, it is. Well, so as a young fella, so I first started playing footy, I think 87. 1987, so under nines or something. So young fella, I was pretty fit, pretty always out, as we would riding bikes and stuff. So got to high school, found the canteen and all the lovely feed that had involved in it. Still love footy. So it wasn't until about 14, 15 got heavier and that, and so I played all that sort of footy as a heavier kid, and sorry, I remember one of my lowest points was under 17s. It's either my first year or second year of under 17s. I wasn't really doing too much out there, and I think back now how I felt of that. You don't really think about 1997, 96, 97. It's not really spoken about, but then, I got Dad come and watch me, because Dad was living out at Marybank Mission at the time as a caretaker. But he was down and come and watch me for a game of footy, drove me to the game, and I was drooping and sat on the bench for the first 3 quarters. So it was, even though that didn't really affect me, I think about it now, I don't ever want to get back to sort of that point, because that really, I was upset that day. Dad and one of my uncles come and watched, and 3.
And that sticks with you.
Yeah, it does. Sticks with you.
More than you want it to as well. Yeah.
So then, 98 was my first year senior footy for Colts. So 18 years old, went to Maddington. Had a good first time I had an Aboriginal coach as well, Danny Jackson Senior.
Oh yeah.
So and his son, because I was good mates with his son, Danny Jackson Junior. And a couple of my cousins, Robbie and Trevor Davis was out there playing.
Yeah.
Shane Mallard, blokes like that were out there. So I went out there because I didn't grow up with when I was playing juniors at Gosnells. I didn't have many black fellas there over my time. So getting to a club where there's a lot. It was good, and it was probably a good change that I sort of needed. 99, I went to Kelmscott, which was our family club. Dad and all the uncles played there. Had one cousin there. One first cousin was there. Another one was at Armidale, and the old boys sort of wanted us to go back together, so we went there. And even then, I'll show you some photos then. I was a big boy. But, I was still lucky enough to get games. Played in my first ever grand final that year. Lost
How old
it.
was you?
19.
19.
Yeah, lost it. I did hit the post pretty much 5 metres out in front on a little slight angle running into the goal. Hit that. Dad was in hospital that game, but they recorded on video and then showed him the video, and he goes, shit, you might have helped them lose that game. So, went there for a while. So I just built up over time, got heavy, then got into the academy in 2000. So I really had to work on getting myself better, fitness-wise and stuff. But even still at this time, it wasn't really big on my agenda. Got up to sort of mid-2006, left there to go to Gozzies, and I was still a big boy. And then it got to end of 2007, so my oldest sister, my second oldest sister at the time, had cervix cancer. And passed away in 2007 for it. And that's when the mental health sort of stuff really hit. Yeah. Spiraled a bit, ate a shitload, drank a shitload, because we was getting half-price McDonald's in police uniform. Okay. I was like, because you're working shift all the time, just so easy. Just pulling through, getting that, blocking. I'm going the healthy option. I'll just go the medium meal, thanks. With a cheeseburger on the side. Got to that. So I reckon I got at my heaviest point was that end of 2007. I got it up to, I was pumping 120 plus kilos at that time. So, had a real good hard look at myself and said, something needs to change here. Did this crazy soup diet that one of my other sergeants was doing at the time, and I think I dropped 8 kilos in a week. Because it's just the ultimate soup diet. And I knew you couldn't sustain. But then from there, I realised, shit, I don't actually need to eat as bad as I did. So, over that time, so I reckon, 2000, so I dropped, I got down to the mid-90s. The next year went back lighter again, and then worked my way. I did an A grade with Freo CBC. This is why I get called a club slut. So I went to A grade club, Fremantle CBC in 2011. So I was 31 at the time, and that's the strongest, the hardest preseason I'd sort of been through. So end of 2017, I'm hitting 120 plus. 2011, that season, I think I got down to 86 kilos. So.
And that's just over that preseason.
Oh yeah, that's a few years, but I kept going down each year. Then end of the year, and then release a little bit, but then work real hard, and sort of get back down. That was probably some of my fittest time. After footy seasons. So then we got the police football as well. So I was playing football pretty much all year round for as much as I can. So then we have a National Police Carnival. We're in October. You go away for the week. You play 3 games, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, against other states. So there's 6 states all up. So, so I started that in 2005. 2003, missed 04, and then from 05, I've been to 17 consecutive, except for 2 that we didn't go because of COVID. So, I'd been... So even whilst I was still heavy, I was still active. Even during my real heavy times, I was still reasonably active. But I must have just been dominating that food and like full strength sugary drinks at the time still, and you know, full strength,
just like the little habits, like
gym, changed a lot of those sort of stuff. And that year's was just me working real hard, just trying to do extras. Really changed my eating habits. Because knowing as well, by that time 2007 I got 2 kids. I got a 7 and a and what is she, 3 years younger, 7 and a 4-year-old. I want to be able to run around and kick around with them and
enjoy life
without,
with them.
without like when I'm playing, that's all right. If I want to go on the bench, that's fine. But they are running around. You want to be longer than 10 minutes, and so just change that, and that was a lot of me. Didn't have any personal trainers or anything like that. So that you know, for me personally, that was good, and I'd noticed like I'm really enjoying playing football. I'm really enjoying that. I've got a lot of energy. At home, like kids, and you know, they're both sport. We made sure they was both into sport, so we always had to be going around and stuff and helping out with that. So
good job with that. Both very successful athletes already.
So I say to them that I sacrificed before they was even born. They got the look, skill, and talent, and the hair too.
Everything.
So very proud in that regards.
For those that don't know, Ethan's is still at West Coast.
Yeah, at West Coast Waffle.
Yeah, playing Waffle West Coast.
He's the games record holder there at the moment. So he's on 49
That's
with
wicked.
them. So he played his 50th Waffle League game earlier this year, but he's on 49 league games with them. And then wicked, daughter man. Talisha is she's a NBL one champion. 2 years ago now. So and then you guys were both playing for Canning Vale this year. Yeah, she would give basketball a break, and she's at Canning Vale. She played at Canning Vale this year. And then on one of the games, they got cancelled last year with COVID for the Waffle. Heath came back to Canning Vale, and me and him played league.
Oh, there. That would have been special.
Yeah, it was. There was a second club that we'd done it at. We'd done it at Gosnells before. I'll probably talk a little bit later. But so with that fitness, and then hopefully it's without them knowing, keep seeing the active. Like they had no choice; they were going to play sport regardless. You really, and I suppose because I got older, I really had to start thinking about the things. Well, if I want them to play sport, I've got to show that I'm trying to do right eating and things like that. So that was big on my fitness journey. What I got back up to about 104 a couple years ago, or a few years ago, and then that's when I said, I needed to change, do something. So I went down to a personal trainer, old Body Madge.
Body Madge,
So I went down there and did like an 8-week program with him, and I think I dropped 8 or 9 again to get back down. So I got down to the But then you got the muscle. You got the muscle that came along with these programs as well. Drooping too.
You're wicked. I know them before and after photos.
Bloke always walk around with a shirt on after that.
Oh, no.
Taking shirt off. Only at home, but then when he walk away.
Oh, brother. But that created that fitness community to be able to do it not only with Body Madge, but Chucky down there.
So
a couple boys there.
Talisha came down, Chucky, Ruben, Jack. Who else?
So it made it that good, fun fitness environment.
It was
doing it together.
It was, and it's because I suppose with footy and maybe with a bit with basketball, not playing that level like you, Unc, but just with footy, it's that camaraderie, and it's that always come on, you blokes, get to training, and then if I'm telling them they got to get to training, we got to perform, not just stuff. So it's good, like having the kids and the nephews there as well. Because trying to
and then they got no excuse if you're doing it, and you better do it.
Jack Cox, Jake Ricks. So that was all there. So it's like if I can try and push them, like if I'm like Ruben, big kangaroo, like three steps, he's half a kilometre down the road.
Big emu, big weight.
But if I can try and push Chucky, But so that was good, and again, like bringing a different dynamic there. I don't think Body Madge would add 7 blackies at one time training in his gym before.
He turned into
And
Quantar all of a sudden.
So, but no, it was good, and then just showed something different. So, I'm probably a little bit more stricter in as I got older with that health sort of side of it, and just hope that it shows like the kids that you can still as you get older or you leave playing top level, you can still sort of do that on a lower level.
Yeah. No, that's wicked, and obviously, that's definitely huge. If you look at the bigger picture of it, not just for yourself, but like you said, for your kids, for the impression that it leaves pretty much anyone that fitness, you just got to start. There's no really, it's too late now. There's no thing like, I want to do this first before. Just start, go for a walk, start with the little things, change to a no sugar drink, and then just go from there. Hey.
Yep. And I also don't be afraid to step out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
So I reckon those 2 times where I had the biggest one, like doing that soup diet, and just saying like that was massive show. It's probably it's not good for you.
well, today is the man shake. The man shake. Have you seen those ones?
Yeah,
It's pretty much like the same thing. Like,
so I've even had them like at various times. I've tried them for like just a breakfast to change something up and things like that. But doing that, and then also like think, I can do this myself. That's why I went to Body Madge. Just well, there's someone that still can keep watching me and then probably push me a little bit more. And that first one that I did with him was real good. And
something about him that I love is he's like, if you like chips, still eat chips, but just eat it in moderations. Like, understand, like, you can still do the stuff that you love that make you happy, but just understand that too much of it might make you unhappy. Like,
you're gonna, I eat because I'm fat. I'm fat because I eat. Like, not sorry with like not making it a thing. But you get that way. You see it on a lot of memes and stuff. So, but it's about. But and also a good thing about him is like he knows you're going to have the slip ups. Yeah. But that's okay. Like same as with anything, you're going to make those mistakes. So, that was good. And just watching others on YouTube, or not YouTube, but more on Instagram and that, and taking a little thing like now saving those. I might have a look at that one time and stuff like that. So
it kind of sparked those little interests here and there of just the whole fitness world. And stuff like that. No, that's wicked.
And then, like I said, if you can have mob involved as well, like trying to do it with them and then pushing hard, like, I can't let these little jerks beat me. They'll talk, they'll chip me. Come on, old boy, Kiya. So, even though I got flogged most times. So, but no, it's good. And that's, I think, what keeps you going, especially as an older fella. Like, and I suppose having the kids when me and Arnie was younger was that, being able to, I think what keeps you going, especially as an older fella. Like and I suppose having the kids when me and Arnie was younger was that being able to have years around at this age now, still thinking can try and compete with you, but growing up in those times and having those real good times. You and Dad would have played basketball together, and
plenty of time. I played basketball with Pop Richard as well. He still plays basketball every day.
I see him down at Willerton when I was playing old boys down there.
I called him up. I called Pop Richard Wally up for his birthday the other month, and I reckon, hey Pop, happy birthday! What are you doing tonight? He goes, just going to basketball first, then going home and having a cake. I was like, oh my, and he's almost 70, and he's mid-60s, and still doesn't miss his basketball.
Nah, it's like when I see him in the off season, I'll go and play veterans at Willerton and then walk in and I see him, like, it just makes you jerk. And that's what I sort of, like, if I'd say, old Hunk, he's still here, always go up, say hello and have a yarn, and you can see he's happy to see family again, and he still enjoys it. But like for that, I look at that and I go, I can. Well,
it's possible.
You can still keep going. Yep. So that's one of the things I sort of hope, Unc, is that trying to do that. Like even though the kids torment me and say, "All right, come on, old boy, time to retire. You had your 450 now," and like, well, no,
I'm pushing for 6 now.
I'll keep playing. So and then and again, it's given me probably my favourite. I've been lucky enough to win a couple premierships at Gozzies and the police championships, winning those won them 2015. Not big, but I was captain of two, like that championship Monash team. I was captain at that time, and I was a co-captain on one of the Gosnells ones. And even a mate of mine who's a Monash, and we talk footy a fair bit, and he goes, well, still, what's your highest personal achievement out of that? And, you know, lucky enough to win a couple of awards lately. And I still say the biggest thing is that 2017 when I was at Gosnells, and me and Heath got to play footy together, league football together as a father and son.
Yeah.
I was 37, he was 16. The old heavens open and the planets aligned because he was between Trinity and Perth Colts.
Yeah.
So I think Perth Colts had a bye and it was school holiday, so Trinity had it off.
So it just
Gosnells, we
lined
had
up.
a number. Someone went down during the week. Coach gave me a call and said, "Congratulations, mate. We want Heath to play with you." And then finding out later that, you know, the club was 108 years old, and that was the first time a father and son had played league football together.
That's really good.
Yeah, that you know, you just Europe again even more. So
Did you link up on the field
yeah,
at any point?
Yep. He kicked me for me to have a shot on goal, and I fucked it.
No.
Set shot. I was probably about 40 out, and that's way too far for me.
Oh yeah.
I needed like a 12-goal breeze behind me to get near it. So.
I reckon if we asked
we
Ethan,
did.
he was only 20 metres out. He was
probably,
directly in front.
And that's probably closer to the
It was
truth.
a brand new ball.
New footy for the league. So
Oh no, everyone went quiet.
So that was that. And then, you know, and then even with Arnie being playing in the Noongar basketball carnivals, and then her and daughter being able to link up in a team during one of the Barry Cameron carnivals a few years ago. You know, that's the memories, and that's probably one of my favourite photos. I got a photo of me and Heath in our footy gear together, and mother and daughter and like in a collage sort of thing. So that's if you're able to do that fitness and keep so it does help with your mental health, because you get these positive things like that there that you sit back and smile about, and you're in a rut some days, and you can go back like, oh fuck, that's what made me happy.
And you share those memories.
Yeah, absolutely. So
no, that's exactly what it's about. So, like we just touched on there, what's in it for next year? You still going to have a kick?
Yeah, so at this stage, it looks like I'll take on the same role as player coach down at Canning Vale. So, like a lot of years that were down there for my 450th, got off the ground, you didn't even let me get a beer in me. And so what, 500 now, huh? So,
got to go for it.
Yeah, look, that's 2.5 years. I'll play footy. So as well as playing the amateur footy down there, I play Masters as well. So that they play every second week, and I just play sometimes, like say if we have an easier game, or the guys are low on numbers for the Sunday, I'll go and play. Then I'll go away with the Masters national or the state team for the national carnival.
Yep.
Still go with the Monash national carnival. So just like keep playing while it still can. Gonna take on that role again next year. Hopefully be able to improve on the coaching, player coaching sort of side of it. Because I've really found it in the first half of the year. It sort of struggled because, and I think the boys did as well. Sometimes when I'm shouting them on the field, I'm doing it as a coach, not as a player.
Like finding
that in between.
place,
But I had some real good assistants, so I needed to trust them. Like the main assistant was, the lead coach at the club the year before and for 5 years previously. So had a very good knowledge base. So just needed to hand him the reins more while I'm playing, and then talk about it when we're off. And I think got that better sort of in the second half. But we'll keep going.
No,
as long as I keep. My main thing is if I'm contributing to the team. Otherwise, I can go down a grade. So we have that. So, but if I'm contributing to the team and holding my spot,
and because you're a club person as well, you get around the club, give back to the club, and that's very important to build that. When we talk about culture, building that culture around the club. Yeah.
So look, been like sort of very lucky in sort of that spade. So with Gosnells, I helped with Arnie Tammy Hayden. We got her to design our first Indigenous jumper down there, and to be able to do like a presenter NAIDOC. Then had Uncle Mort come out and do the welcome. Had Bushy playing Didge down there as well. And we had they've built on that. Gosnells have built on that. Last year was very good through the social scene, what they had done. So the guys have really pushed that. But prior to that, being able to have Anzac round, I sort of helped Gosnells Kelmscott. We created an Anzac round, and we thought we were going to play in the Sunday League forever, so we'd put that, but then we went to amateurs. But that's something that's ongoing, and lucky enough to have the Gosnells give a medal to the Gosnells player for best on the day, and half of that medal is named after Dad, so it's the Barrett Hansen medal.
That's wicked,
So, and that came across. So Dad was at Kelmscott, the Barretts were at Gosnells. They used to play against each other, punch on, fight, scrap, and then they'd be the first. And so there was two. Norm was the brother, and Terry. So Terry went to Vietnam as well as Dad, so they knew each other. They had that connection there. They white line fever, fight, everything. But then soon as they the first one sitting on the hill with a carton having a charge.
It's wicked how they do that. Boys on it.
So we've got that history with me and son doing that, but then it's also Dad's name is attached to an Anzac medal that's there. And then when come across to Canning Vale to help them set up with their first NAIDOC event last year, and them getting Johnson Taylor and I think it's Jasmine West as a trainer. They designed the players and trainer Noongar and Mulgana. They designed the jumpers, the men's and the women's jumper, and then again to have Uncle Mort and Auntie Viv down there, and have Johnson's mum Jody, who's from the Champion Centre, just do that, and then this year Bushy helping me out down, just do that, and then this year Bushy helping me out down there as well. So it's you immerse those self into that side, and everyone is getting around, and again we're sharing. But you also, because you're there, it's your place as well. You want to make it as comfortable for you, and make it a home for you. So that's you want to be a part of it.
No, that's wicked, Unc. Well, you keep making those places feel special everywhere you go, because from this conversation that we've had, the common factor is everywhere you go, you're bringing a little bit, you're leaving a little bit of yourself there, but you're also bringing your culture with you, and you're leaving that there too. And that's exactly what this podcast is about, is engaging with people like you, saying Kiya hello to people like you, that being able to share your story and those point of views that's often overlooked. So from someone that's young, I want to say thank you for everything that you're doing in the community, the changes that you're making, the influences that you're having on people, and also what you're doing in the sporting field is definitely very, very special.
Yeah, thanks. Greatly. You sort of hear it from fellas in a joking way, but no, it's special to get it from you. And look, especially with someone like yourself, you're a young emerging leader too, and you got your Bloodline Academy. You're doing a lot of stuff with Binar. You're doing a lot of basketball there. You're doing work yourself. So no, it's good, and you're doing stuff like this, and then you want to get word out there. So it's seen by not just me, like it's seen by elders and seen by others. No doubt your cousins and your brothers get into you, but they're getting into you because they can't show that affection, and it's probably from a place of love. So good, keep working and keep shining, just not all the time with white hair like that. There.
Mate, it was a split-second decision, and I'm sticking with it. All right, I've got
you videoed it for like 4 hours, so it wasn't split second.
I got that much. I've got Chris Brown. I've got Cisco from Cisco, the thong song.
That's you.
I got Pharrell. I got what is it? Juntao from Russia. Juntao. He said, "Well, wipe yourself. You're clean." Yeah, I got it. So I'm and I like it. So I don't care what no one says.
I'm sticking with it.
I'm sticking with it. No, thank you so much for coming in. I know I should have said this at the start, but I'll say it at the end. I'm recording for my safety.
You're recording for my safety. Some of those messages you were sending me. You'll go bored. You talk dirty to your uncle like that. Trust me.
Big thank you to our sponsor, Jilla. The water that pulses through the land is considered living by the Aboriginal people. Powerful ancestral beings travel the dreaming tracks, which link permanent water sources called Jilla. Jilla is how our people have connected with each other and the land for thousands of years. Share the spirit. Jilla, purely Indigenous.